Hi everyone, and welcome back for week 3 of Opera Makers. Have you ever wondered what makes up a great melody, or why a tune stays stuck in your head? Today, composer Sam Shahi is going to tell you all about it, and even show you how to make one of your own. After Sam talks to us about melodies, and if it's okay with your parent or guardian, don't forget to share your creations with us on social media by tagging us at Canadian Opera and using the hashtag OperaMakers. You could even win a pair of tickets to see a 2021 production of your choice. We'll be picking a winner every week. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's go.
Hi everybody, my name is Sam Shahi. I'm a pianist, composer, and a conductor. Today we're going to talk about melodies. We're going to talk about some famous melodies, look at how they're built. We can sort of play around with our own little melody, and at the end of the class we can even have an opportunity to write a little bit of a melody ourselves. So what is a melody? So a melody is a string of individual musical notes that create somewhat a memorable, beautiful, or very interesting musical experience for you. It's also called a tune. It's something that you always hum to yourself when you hear something, a piece of music or a song that you really, really like. So we all know a lot of melodies. I mean, we've heard a lot of music in our lifetime. Here's some examples. Here's one melody that we all know. Jingle bells, right? Or here's another melody. This is Alla Turca by Mozart that we've also probably heard. Here's a couple of examples from famous operas. Or this one. This is Carmen, right, by Georges Bizet. These are all really, really nice and beautiful melodies. So what makes them so good? Well, first of all, they're written by some of the best composers in the history of music. So obviously those composers knew what they were doing, and they were really good at coming up with melodies and also making them sound really, really cool and interesting. But one of the first and most fundamental concepts about melodies that make them good is that they stick to a very simple idea, and they repeat that idea in different forms and ways. So for instance, if you look at the Mozart, that idea, right, that not only the rhythm of taka taka ta taka, but also the way that melody moves. Right, it's that sort of like curved motion that it has. Or when you look at the Carmen melody, you have all like what we call chromatic motion, which means all of the notes that you have on any instrument that you have will just going sort of descending, coming down the stairs from all of the notes, which makes it sound like it's part of the same unit, part of the same musical idea. Okay, so these are all really, really cool melodies. So now, how can we sort of make these melodies longer? How can we develop them? That's what we call development. So composers, when they write an interesting musical idea, they like to keep it going. They like to write really, really long pieces with it. And that's what we call development. So there are many, many other ways you can develop a melody, for instance. But here's some basic ways you can do that. So first thing, let's have a melody. So this is a very, very basic melody I just wrote before recording this video. Again, nothing very special, right? A very simple, sort of playful melody. So now, let's see. First thing that you can do is you can probably make this melody really fast, right? So, double the time. Okay, that was good. You can make it double the time slow, so the other way around, exactly the opposite. the rhythms of it. It doesn't have to be exactly that same rhythm, and you can even add some notes in between. Okay, good. So we learned a few ways. We can add some notes, take some notes away, change the rhythm a little bit, but it's still more or less the same feel. It's still a very playful, very happy feel. What if we want to make it sound a little bit sadder and more dramatic, more tragic? Then we change the combination of the notes within the scale that I'm playing to make it sound a little bit different. Suddenly got a little sadder. What if we want to make it sound a little jazzy? So that's another way. What if we want to make it sound spooky? Let's say it's a scary moment and we want to have just like... And you notice I even changed these registers a little bit. Sort of fragment the melody, right? So that it sort of sounds like it's sort of jumping around and it's making you feel a little unsettled, right? These are only few of the ways you can change a melody. Now, why is that important? Well, when a piece of music or a dramatic work, like a play or an opera or a ballet, is telling a story, musical ideas become very, very important. This is what we call a motif. So when you hear a bit of a melody at the beginning of a piece or an opera or a ballet, and then you hear it again in the middle of it, after all of the story that has happened and after all the things that have taken place, then that melody might make you feel differently. Even the melody itself might have changed a little bit in the way. Maybe at the beginning it was happier and now it's sad because of some horrible thing that has happened. Or the other way around. Maybe we heard at the beginning and something bad was happening and now suddenly, I don't know, people are free or somebody's getting married or somebody's found happiness and is suddenly happier. So it's a very, very important tool for composers to tell a story through melodies. That these melodies come back and they're changed, and this change makes you feel different. It's telling you a story, sometimes without you even knowing about it. I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we're watching a movie and the music suddenly turns a certain way, maybe becomes a little creepy, and then you're getting unsettled. You're like, is something gonna happen? Even without you seeing anything creepy happening, you feel that fear inside you, and that's a very, very powerful tool for composers. And they do that in opera and ballet as well. So that's what we call a motif. And you can do that with basically what we just did. We changed the combination of the notes, we changed the rhythms of the notes, and we come up with these really, really cool ways to make fundamentally the same melodic idea, musical idea, very, very different. Okay, great. So now that we've talked about melodies and now that we've talked about sort of how we can make them a little bit different and how they're built, and we even looked at some famous melodies, maybe it's time for us to see if we can make our own little tune. Okay, great. So the easiest way to go about that is to sort of make it a little bit sort of compartmentalized. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up with a rhythm that we like. What is a rhythm? The rhythm is the shortness and the length of the notes that we're doing. For example, this is a rhythm. Or this is also a rhythm. These are all rhythms because we're dividing time in smaller and smaller and also longer fragments. But we're going to start with really, really simple rhythms. And to do that, we're going to use words. We're going to use language to do that. I've come up with two musical terms that have a particular rhythm to them. And we're going to use those words to string together a nice sort of block of rhythm. Okay, the first word we're going to use is called bass. So how many syllables does the word bass have? Bass, bass, bass is only one, right? Okay, bass. It's nice. And what is a bass? Does anybody know what a bass is? Okay, so a bass is the lowest voice type in singing, generally in opera or in choir or generally with solo singers. So a bass is the lowest one. And then we have alto, alto, alto. Do you want to repeat after me? Alto, 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 alto. So how many syllables does alto have? It has two. Alto, alto. So it's quicker by a factor of two. Exactly by a factor of two. Great. So we have bass, bass, and we have alto, alto. So now, how many ways are there for us to combine these two words in a group of 4 words? So many. So many, right? So, okay, let's just have a few examples. Maybe we can do bass, alto, alto, bass. Go. One more time. Bass, alto, alto, bass. Go. Let's do another one. You can obviously sort of continue combining these as many times and as many ways as you like. You can even use different words if you like. So let's do this one. Alto, alto, bass, bass. Go. One more time. Alto, alto, bass, bass. Go. I like that last one. Alto, alto, bass, bass. It has a nice feel to it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also limit you to only 3 and 3 notes. No more than that. So only the notes C and D and E, or any 3 notes that are right next to each other on your instrument that you're comfortable playing. So for our purposes, only C and D and E, okay? And we're going to use the rhythm we just had, alto, alto, bass, bass, and use that to create combination of melodies. I'm going to do a few examples. Thousands and thousands and thousands more. So what I would like you to do is to try this at home and see if you can come up with really, really cool melodies. Next week, we're going to have my good friend Sonia Rainey talk about set design, and I would love to have you there. I had a lot of fun with you, and I'm hoping to see you soon. Bye.